Hi there. I am Dr. Marius Pfeiffer. I'm your instructor for Majors Biology Lecture and Lab 2, Biology 1407. I'm sharing my screen with you here, or recording my screen so you can see my Blackboard page. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a few things. First, I want to draw your attention to announcements that I've put out here. A number of y'all have responded to this announcement asking you to complete this questionnaire. Some of you have not yet, so if you will, please do that. That's going to help me schedule live face-to-face sessions. They're not obligatory. You don't have to make them, but I want to have them for those students who really can take advantage of them at times that you're available. So please complete the questionnaire so that I can schedule those meetings. This is an online class, so we won't be having any face-to-face action. It'll all occur over the computer. I may ask you to do some things out in the field, go out into into nature, which is always a good idea, as part of lecture and part of lab. But that'll be for later. Go ahead and get the textbook if you have not. I sent this message out to y'all August 19th. I think that was, that was a week ago now. To go ahead and make sure you've got your books. Now, if you registered for the class after the 19th, go back and take a look at this announcement because it'll be there. And find this link to the OpenStax Biology textbook. And your instruction is to go ahead and read Chapter 18. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. All right, so a few people are still getting into the system. This takes you out to the textbook, and they're asking for donations. It's a nonprofit organization that puts this together under the direction of some faculty at Rice University, which is a big university in Houston, if you don't know about that. And anyway, here's where we can get the book, all right? And here's the table of contents. Your assignment is Chapter 18. We're on evolutionary processes. That's where Biology 1407 starts. So you can view the book online, which I strongly recommend. Normally, since we're doing an online class, let's go ahead and do online book. You can download an app that you can read on your phone. A lot of you may want to do that. Do it. You can download the actual book in PDF form for free. If that is good for you, do so. If you want to print it out, which is only the real advantage of getting this, is so that you can print it out so that you've got it as a paper book in front of you or paper chapters. A lot of people prefer that. I kind of like reading paper as well, but I'm getting used to doing it more on the computer. Or you can order a hardback for $51. I'm not advertising you do that. You'd buy it as an individual. But you can get it for free. The whole point is it's a free book. The $51 costs, pays for the actual physical cost, because they have to contract that to somebody to actually just print the book. So if you wanted to know what a textbook physically costs to make, not what it costs to create the content, but what it costs to actually build just the physical book, it's $51, for paper and printing and all of that. To pay people to create the content inside is where all the other price comes from, but this is a nonprofit organization. So anyway, that's about the book. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and get back to the course, and I seem to have lost my connection here. I don't know how I got out of here. Okay. There we go. So I'm back in announcements right here. Let's go over and take a look. First, contact information. Here's how you can get a hold of me. This will just pop open for you. I'm not using Student View because there's a couple of things that won't show up correctly from my perspective. Anyway, email is probably the best way to contact me. Use that. You can also phone me. This is my office phone at work, but it's forwarded to my home phone, to my cell phone actually. And then I'm going to have regular office hours, 9:30 through noon each day. That's when I'm just guaranteed to be here to get phone calls, to respond to email in real time. And if somebody wants to conference with me, we can conference using the conference tool that I'll show you in a second. And if you need to reach somebody and you can't get a hold of me, go ahead and get a hold of Tamara Tartar. She's the administrative assistant for our department. Here's her email and there's her phone number. All right, so that's contact information. Let's go ahead and take a look at lecture documents. And so you want to click this folder, And it's going to take you to a few things. Most of my documents and materials I store off-site in Google, actually in Google Drive. So this will take you to a Google Drive folder where all the contents of our semester are loaded up. We'll get into this eventually. Biological evolution is obviously our first unit. Your assignment, besides the reading I've already given you, is to read this article on mutant crayfish clones itself. It's taking over Europe. This is from the New York Times about 2 years ago now. Read that article. That's an assignment. Okay? Anyway, there's where you're going to find a lot of course material, so you're welcome to go ahead and browse through that material, but we don't need to get into it yet. Here's our syllabus. And I'm not going to read over the whole thing. You can do that. Ask me questions and I'll answer questions about them. Most importantly, I want to show you the schedule of events. So weeks 1 through 4, Evolution and the Origin of Species, that's 18. Then Chapter 19, Evolution of Populations. And then 20, the Phylogenies and History of Life. And I'll record a lesson here to cover Evolution and the Origin of Species quite shortly. If I can have some students in there with me, that'll be better because we can do Q&A as I record the lesson. Okay? And that's our schedule, though. So we'll have our first exam week 4. Then we'll move on to Evolution of Genomes, etc., etc. Week 8, we'll have exam number 2, and then we carry on and carry on and carry on through the rest of the semester. Important dates. And what else do you want to know in here? How do we grade? Grading, grade determination. Lecture is 60% of your grade. Lab is 40% of your grade. In lecture, 75% of the grade comes from tests, 15 from homework assignments, and 10% from quizzes, chapter quizzes. All right. So that's enough about lecture for the moment. Remember, your assignments are to read Chapter 18 out of your textbook. You can get it immediately. There's no money needed to get it online. And then if you go into Unit 1, read about the mutant crayfish. All right, and those are your immediate assignments, and then we'll get going from there. Let's go and talk about lab. You've got a lab assignment this week. So if we go to the laboratory materials, your laboratory is set up in modules based on the subject matter. So we have a little intro right here. This just happens right away. And then we're in week 1. So for the next 3 weeks, we'll be working on this population genetics assignment. Okay, so here's our syllabus. Each week, we've got a topic, we've got things that are assigned, we've also got research papers that are assigned. Notice grades, submissions for all assignments in lab. Everything in lab is due Sunday night at 11:59. So this Sunday, which would be the 30th, you'll need to get your lab safety document in, and you'll need to do your post-lab analysis for the week 1 lesson. So you've got all the way till Sunday to do that. All right, and then we carry on, carry on, carry on, carry on all the way through. We'll talk more about lab later, but that's the syllabus. Here's how you're graded. Each lab week has a lesson built into it, and the lesson has quiz questions in it. You get to take each of those questions twice. You can do them twice, so if you get it wrong, do it again and get it right. And those are collectively 7% of your lab grade. The post-lab analysis, which you must use the Proctorio secure browser testing tool in, those lab analyses are 22% of your course grade. That's much more substantial, so you really want to focus on these guys. You've got some statistics assignments, which are also going to count as lab analyses. They have the same they have a different grading category. They're 4% each of your grade, so they're 16% of your grade. And then you've got 3 papers that you're going to write. One on the first experiment, one on the second experiment, and then the independent project that you'll do for the second half of the semester. There's a paper to write on that. those are worth the bulk of your course grade, so that's 44% of your course grade for those 3 papers. And then we've got a couple of presentations and a digital poster to do at the end of the semester. Read through the syllabus, read through the grading, all the details right here. You've got a whole bunch of instructors available. All 6 of us are majors biology instructors who teach this course, so you can always reach out if you have a working relationship with any of these instructors. Feel free to talk to them about details of the course. All right, that's the syllabus. Back into laboratory materials. Let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus again is in here, and then the lab safety lesson. So here's your first lesson. You're going to go do this lab safety lesson. Each lesson is going to have, a bunch of different contents in it. So we go to safety guidelines, and you're going to work through this. There's a lot of stuff on this first page. Now these were all written by your instructors here. So I wrote some of these lessons. Dr. Bird, Dr. Manus wrote some of these lessons. It's all produced by us here at TCC. You'll go on to page 2. Continue. You're going to do this simulation right here. You're going to go ahead and do this lab simulation, which if I click on it, it's going to take you to an outside source, BioNetwork. We'll wait for it to load. And you want to go ahead and go through this safety training process right here. And when you're done, when you're finished, you're going to get a certificate. Go ahead and save that as a document on your computer because you're going to need it later. All right. Once you finish that, you'll go on to the next page. And you're going to answer some questions. Now, by the way, this lab safety training is for safety in the lab. So to get credit for majors biology and go on through your education, we have to meet certain educational goals. This is normally a live face-to-face class, so that includes safety behavior in a live lab. So this safety module is on the premise that you're working in a real lab. All right. I'm sorry that we're not. It's an extraordinary situation, but hopefully we'll be back to face-to-face classes soon. Doesn't change the situation for y'all, but we'll make the best of it here. Anyway, answer these questions and submit them. Remember, you get 2 goes at each of these questions. These are the in-lesson quizzes. You get 2 shots at each one of them. And then you're done with this. All right. So that's this particular lesson. So then we go ahead and we'll click on the assignment lab safety, if it'll do it. Oh, assignment lab safety, here it is. For you could just click it on the menu over here, but I'm in my view. So if we do this right here, we go into this assignment right here. After you complete the safety simulation, you're going to get that certificate. Well, here's where you're going to upload it. So browse your computer, find it, and upload it. All right. If for some reason you can't archive a document correctly, if you get a certificate and you take a picture of it with your camera and you can upload this file, the image file, that'll work too. However you want to get a document to me, as long as you get it to me, that's the important thing. All right. So you can use some of your creative talents to find interesting ways of getting stuff done. All right, that's the upload assignment. Let's go ahead and something as to that. And then finally, we've got a practice quiz for Proctorio. You need to go ahead and take this quiz right here. It requires the Proctorio insert, and here is a link to install instructions for students. Okay, so if I click on this, it's going to take you to a website. This is how you're going to get Proctorio set up on your computer. You must have it set up by Sunday, because that's when our first assignment is due that requires the Proctorio browser. So all of y'all said that you have computers. Not everybody has a video camera, which is what I'm using, a separate video camera right here. If you've got a laptop or a notebook, yours is built right in, but if it's a PC or a desktop, you'll have to buy a video camera, a USB camera, and attach it. It's no big deal. And you must have a microphone. I've got a headset and microphone I'm using right here, which actually gives you the best sound results, both for people listening to you and for you getting sound, from somewhere else. It also allows you a bit of privacy so everybody else around you doesn't have to hear the speakers on your laptop or notebook. So I suggest getting a good headset with a microphone. This is a gaming headset. They seem to work best, so go ahead and get those. Make sure you're set up there. To install Proctorio yourself, you have to get Google Chrome. You can install this on a PC or on a Mac. The Google Chrome browser, Proctorio requires that. Once you've got Google Chrome installed, and here's instructions in a video showing you how to do it, then you need to install the extension in Chrome, which is super easy. As it says, 30 seconds is a long time to get this done. Follow the link. Here's some instructions. Go ahead and get Proctorio installed. Once that's in, once that's installed, you'll be able to take the proctored analyses for lab and the proctored tests and the proctored quizzes for lecture. All right, so I moved a little forward. Let me just back up, and we were looking at lab syllabus and lab safety. So now I've gone into week 1 through 3 population genetics. This is the first module right here, so it covers the first 3 weeks of lab. So what I want y'all to do is to go into this lesson, this online lesson right here. It'll take you here in a second. You don't have to click these buttons. This is just me from my teacher's view. So you'll go directly into this population genetics assignment or lesson, and so you're going to work through it. Let's go ahead and get begin here is what it says. You've got your learning objectives. This is 3 weeks worth of objectives, okay? So it progresses over some time. These are the things that you're going to be tested on. So you want to write information down on your laboratory notebook, just like you did in Biology 1406, and that laboratory notebook is going to be the one thing that you can bring into your proctored sessions as a resource. All right. Carry on through the lesson, and you can do this on your own schedule. Let's see, here we go. And as you work your way through in these lessons, after a while, questions start showing up. So this is your in-lesson quiz, which is 8% of your laboratory grade. When you select an answer right here, if you get it wrong, you can check your answer. Go ahead and do it again and see if you can get your answer right. We want you to get a good grade on here. There's no reason not to get 100 on all of these things. You get 2 goes at each question. All right, and so you just work your way through the lesson. 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 Here's your first statistics assignment set, which is a graded event. You'll see that in the syllabus, Statistics 1. All right. Here's instructions on writing the paper on the ALU lab. A lot of good, useful stuff right here. There's a whole paper as an example. Sorry, here's a whole paper as an example. So a whole bunch of great stuff on how to write your lab. And that's this lesson. All right, so work your way through this lesson right here. When you're done with the lesson, you're going to go ahead and take the post-lab analysis. Now this does require the Proctorio Secure Test Browser, so you'll need to have that. And you can only take this once. It's a timed event. You have 30 minutes to get it finished, and you've got to submit it. You can use your notebook as a resource while you're completing the analysis. When you go in to take these analyses, there's a few things that you're going to want to have ready. Again, you've got to have a camera. You must have a camera. The software is going to record you only while you're taking the test, or the analysis in this case, and stop recording when you're done. It also records audio, it records keyboard, and all of the stuff. The proctor will seal your computer so that the only thing you can do is that analysis when you click start. It's the only thing the computer will allow you to do, except you can pull up white paper, scratch paper on the computer, and you can pull up a calculator. It's included. All right. It's going to ask you to verify yourself by using your ID. So make sure you've got your student ID available, and go ahead and put that in front of the video for a little bit so I can read it. And that allows me to confirm that you are you. We'll see each other regularly after this anyway. But at first I need some sort of ID right here. And then you can go ahead and start. You have 30 minutes. You have one go at it. You can't get up and leave. I mean, if you do, the timer keeps going, and that's what the video camera's for. It's going to flag that event, and it's going to give me an alert that somebody left the test while it was going. And so then we'll have to have a discussion about that. So this is just as if you're taking a test in a classroom. You sit down, you do it. Since it's only 30 minutes, we're not going to have bathroom breaks or anything like that. So make sure you're ready when you sit down to take these analyses. It's a graded event, but you get to have your notebook with anything that you've written in that notebook. So you can put everything in here. If you've got the right information, you can answer every one of these questions pretty dang, easily. The questions come right out of the objectives for the first week, and they're based on the material in the lesson you watched. So no questions in this analysis will not have been addressed in this lesson. All right. Okay. That's your assignment for now. Then for lab, we'll get on to week 2 next week. We'll have a live session here once everybody's completed the schedule survey. Let's get going. Welcome to the class. Bye.